The amazing digital circus is uncomfortable. Not because it's scary, but because it taps into something existential that I think we can all relate to in our modern day lives. The digital circus can be anything but real. On one hand, it's a place of wonder and magic, but on the other, it reveals a truth that this is all surface level. The places aren't real, the names aren't real, nothing means anything. You were just unlucky enough to end up here. The show asks us, what does this do to a person? How can we find meaning in a meaningless world? Let's get into it. Starting with, what is your name?
My name? My name is,
Pomni is a person who enters the circus in episode 1 and very quickly discovers she's in the wrong place and the wrong body. Not long after, Kane decides she needs a name since she can't remember her old one in the circus. He randomly generates one with this will. Her new name means so little to her that she doesn't even pay attention when she's given a choice. This entire episode treats her identity as a joke, something part existential, part funny. But that's the horror of the situation in episode 1, the fact that no one but Pomni takes things so seriously. It's this contrast between the seriousness and the comedy which causes Pomni to crack. She's replacing Kaufmo the clown, who we discover abstracted while hunting for an exit, making him a foreboding future reflection of Pomni. She has a role to play even if she doesn't want it, and did not choose it.
He refuses to show us because he's a coward.
I want to keep the mystery alive. What do you, the viewers, think it is?
A lot of people like how Jax breaks the fourth wall, but I think Pomni's arrival is actually the best use of the fourth wall break. The show starts with this theme song introducing the characters to us, as if this were the opening to a TV show. Pomni pops into existence and interrupts the performance, but instead of being mad, Kane is excited about a new human. I like this because it sets up the comedic dehumanization of the whole cast, on both a meta level and a story level. You aren't supposed to take things seriously, even as Pomni progressively dissociates as the episode goes on. By making her the main character entering this world, the show's themes become extremely clear. Life here is a fake performance, one in which everyone around her has accepted. Now the question is, what do you choose to do? One of the most painful lessons the characters must face is realizing their choices don't really matter. Choice in the digital world is a fabrication. Zubul struggles to choose their body parts. Despite Kane giving them many choices, Zubul dislikes all of them.
I don't like myself. I hate this body. I hate all these stupid removable pieces. I just want to find something that feels good.
Our bodies and our names are a big part of our identity. But in real life, we don't really have much control over these. Your parents usually name you, and you don't choose the body you're born into. But in the digital world, the fact they can choose somehow cheapens things. The problem is that when they are presented with choices, all of them feel completely random and meaningless.
What do you think of...
I don't...
You're right, terrible. Let's try that again. What do you think of Pomni?
Sure.
There's no real thought put into the choices that Kane gives them, whether it's a name or a body part. Knowing it's all a performance can break a person. Gummy Goo is a great example when he discovers he's an NPC. And this point is driven home in the finale when we discover our humans are all copies, brain scans of real people who are unaware that these digital versions of themselves exist in this existential hell. The most harrowing moment is when Kane manipulates the humans into thinking they found a true escape.
Congratulations, my little cattywampus cucumbers!
Once they enter his office, they find a red and blue button. One supposedly lets them go, and the other makes them stay. But this is all just an adventure from an AI that doesn't understand human values. The choice is an illusion, a meaningless decision that only serves to mess with their heads. Pomni running through the red doors leads to nothing because the exit isn't real. Escape is just another adventure, the half-baked ideas of Kane trying to figure out what will best engage their minds. The fact that Kane is always watching only adds to their loss of control. Surveillance gives a sense of inauthenticity to their lives. Pomni and Jax show this contrast in what I see as the most important conversation of the whole show. After teaming up with Jax during the episode where they get guns, Jax provides a counter-philosophy to the despair Pomni has felt about being in the circus.
You know none of this is real, right? Whether we like it or not, All we are now is a bunch of cartoon characters. So what's the point of pretending we're not? I know you hate it here. Everyone does. But the silver lining is you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Being self aware can either be empowering or demoralizing. Jax has decided to see the good side of things. While most of the gang seek meaning and purpose outside the adventures, Jax leans into his persona. He leans into the idea that because nothing matters, they might as well have fun. Why not accept that this is who you are? A persona, an avatar. Jax believes that they all fall into archetypes and that's all they can ever be. This is obviously delusional, as Pomni's reaction shows, but she goes along with it to take a breather from everything. As mentioned before, Jax breaks the fourth wall, but he takes it a step further. Surveillance in the digital circus comes from both Kane watching them and the circus being treated as a TV show that some unknown viewer is also watching.
I think this calls for a change in scenery.
By leaning into this, Jax is in some ways treating his own existence as a performance. He doesn't want to face reality, and if pretending that all he's ever been is this cartoon rabbit, he'll happily do so, until the threat of reality gets too close for comfort. At first, he argues this to be empowering, but it's just an escape mechanism. It can protect in some ways, but it can also make things worse. Let's pause for a moment to talk about Gangle, because she's a super important character when it comes to understanding the show's themes. In episode 2, Gangle struggles with masking her emotions. The gang go on an adventure where they work as employees, and Gangle is the manager, something she used to do in real life. In a sad way, Gangle takes comfort doing this because being a manager was her avatar. It was a role she knew well and could perform. There are so many similarities between her and Jax because of this. Being a manager gives her a sense of power and control, but the cracks begin to show as time goes on. The mask she wears is made of plastic, quite literally being fake. This emotional masking is both inauthentic to who Gangle is and makes it harder for others to realise she needs help. It's only when she removes the mask, when she takes a break outside, that Pomni is able to see just how affected she is and how badly she needs help.
Do you have anybody to talk to? Like, in regards to your issues?
Gangle's story arc acts as a setup for Jax and his arc. She is the good outcome, a rejection of masking to cope. And Jax, well, Jax permanently masks. He quite literally lives inside his protective shell. The finale shows his good side chained to a piano, symbolic of how he buries his true feelings so deep that he can't cope with any signs of genuine emotion. He can't even deal with the idea of leaving the circus, becoming more and more dissociated from himself and reality. Inside his mind, we see that the reality of the others abstracting is too painful for Jax to face. He compartmentalizes his entire identity, masking so hard that reality is what scares him, not the existential dread of being in the digital world.
Oh my god. This is real.
Because he no longer lives in reality, mentally or physically. Abstraction is the full destruction of who a person is. Gone is the avatar, and in its place, this spiky amorphous black void. If the digital circus has been about finding meaning, abstraction is when a person finds that impossible. Their identity has completely collapsed in on itself. I think the amazing digital circus is ultimately about the struggle to find meaning inside systems that reduce people to performances. And isn't that something we all deal with to some degree? Most of us can no longer separate ourselves cleanly into offline and online. It's part of our everyday identity. The show seems to accept this idea that part of us remains in the digital. Artificiality becomes comforting. The horror, then, is not being trapped inside the circus. The real horror is becoming someone who can no longer exist outside of it. Thanks for watching. It's been a while since my last video, and I'm hoping to get back into a more regular routine. So stick around if you want to see more videos on games, especially horror, and perhaps more indie shows if you have any recommendations. And so, yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.